This goes off like a question that a friend of mine asked me about why I'm not Christian because as I speak, I sound Christian. But I would have to say that it goes off of how God is and is understood how to look and be and act, and how the Bible portrays religion. I have similar values, but I think honestly, the values that I share with Christianity, it's just basic common sense, no different than the values I share with Republican, basic common sense. It's not. I don't think it's a Christian thing. I don't think it's a Republican thing. I think it's just common sense. My belief. I believe in the Heavenly Father and Mother. Mom and Dad that created everything that are in, everything that are up, everything that are nothing as well. And then you have the angelics and demons that I think keep balance between the universe. I do think I think every being of creation life has free will and are able to act on their desires. So I think that's what happened. I think Lucifer did just that. Um, but I also don't think Lucifer is the only one that acted on him. I don't know if he's the prime evil and birth of evil. Um, but I think human race were created in a much different way. Um, they were created like religion and Christianity says, but also like what Wiccan believes and what pagans believe. I don't believe. I don't believe Africa was the center of all existence on Earth. I believe the whole planet was. I believe the whole planet is the Garden of Eden. I do think there's a small little chunk of Earth hidden somewhere where Earth in this small Garden of Eden is how the Earth once looked long ago. I also think that humans have been around since the dinosaurs. I also think that time period was a whole lot different. I think the meteor that killed the dinosaurs technically was a big storm, and maybe some meteors fell down at the right time, but I think it was a storm that covered the planet in destruction and creation, and washed away everything that we once knew, leaving only fragments and echoes of our past to be used, and altered and shaped into creating our path that led us to this day and age that we live in now, 2023. I'm not quite sure if I don't think some man in the sky is watching over us. I don't think he sent some, angel to impregnate a 14-year-old, um, to give birth to his and only son to die for our sins so we can be forgiven and allowed to walk in the garden even up in heaven. I think that's kind of, you know, um, there's a lot of things that, I don't consider fucking the Rainbow Mafia, I don't consider it a sinful nature to where they are not welcome in heaven and they can go to hell for it. But I also don't think it's normal. I think it's an anomaly, and a mutation within evolution. They just have a chemical, unbalance and are attracted to the opposite sex. It goes against like the whole laws of nature about how man, woman, make child, create society, build a civilization, and then do it all over again. Um, so I think that that's primarily where my belief comes. I believe in mother and father. I believe in other entities, but I also don't know it like because in the Bible long ago that God and angels interacted with the human race a lot more. Even in other religions, they interacted with humanity a lot more than what we're being interacted with now. So, are there still angels and demons? I think so. I think the devil is bored with us, and I think God is fed up. I also don't think for a being of ultimate beginning and creation and end that created all of this, I just think he has better things to do with his time than to watch over us and judge us and make sure we're doing right. It's like he's like Santa Claus checking his list twice, making sure everybody's naughty and nice. It's like I don't get it. Um, I do believe that Jesus was a real person. I also don't think that was his real name. I also don't think that's how he looked, how Christianity wants to paint him. Because I mean, that was 2,000 years ago. That's a lot of time for the human race. I don't, back then, people but didn't look like that in that time period. I think he did look a little bit darker. Um, but I also think he was a prophet, not the child of God. I think he was awakened from the old ways. And that could be magic, that could be science, that could be miracles, however you want to look at it. Because I see miracles, science, and magic the same thing. It's just the basics of understanding, grasping, and doing. In science, we are performing things that only God should have been able to do. And miracles, we have seen it. In magic, we believe to understand it. Magic and science are a little more, similar. And miracles actually kind of like fights with both of them and tries to be something else than what it really is. Um, but I do think that Jesus was sent here to maybe open up the old ways and bring us back to the past, help us ascend. And I think Jesus was altered and used and misled to create Christianity that I believe was created by man, that was planned to be used to control humanity. I do think there is some truth in the Bible. I think there's some truth in it, wrapped up with lies and altering, and BS. Um, I mean, and a lot of it's common sense. I mean, it's truth, common sense, and BS and lies. Treat others as you want to be treated. I think it's pretty fucking, to the point. If you don't want to be hit, you shouldn't probably hit other people. You prefer to be talked to instead of yelled at, so you should do that to other people. Don't lie. I think that's pretty, be blunt, be truth, be full of, who you are. I like to think that, you take my words to the bank and get paid for it. So I take pride in my words and speaking, make sure nobody's misunderstanding where I'm coming from. So you know exactly where I fucking stand with you. Um, so I mean, like, my friend did. I mean, I do have similar views and beliefs and morals and outlooks and theories and thoughts of Christianity and Republicans, but I'm not either. I have a problem with honestly all religions, not just those ones. And I'm still questioning things that, because I mean, who knows? Reincarnation, past lives, dying, heaven, hell, God, the devil. I mean, honestly, when you come down and really think about it, the only things that we know are truth are the things that are in front of our eyes. And even that you have to take with a grain of salt, because who's to say this is actually truth? Who's to say this isn't just a similarity? Maybe we're just chemicals and particles and gases just formulating form and shape, but yet none of this actually really exists. I mean, but that's where I believe. I mean, I believe in Mother and Father. I believe in there's three. I think there's Mother and Father as the prime, Omega, and Alpha, and then you have the three circles of higher beings in creation life. Everything from demonics and angels to dragons to elves and all that. Yes, I think elves, immortals pretty much, and other life forms that are up above the planet. The things that are on the physical plane, that are on other planets out there, they're just life forms. They're no different than us. They're a little biologically they're different. They're a different life form, but they're no different than humans. They breathe, uh, sulfur instead of oxygen. But I mean, because like that's another thing. Like, they really think, like, out there in space that we're the only life form, or we're the life form of God's. But that's another thing with the whole morals things. I mean, I never understood why, like, I couldn't understand what morals are without knowing God first, because He has to teach me what morals are. Because it's just not common sense. And I do think that maybe like the religion was a stepping stone to teach you what morals are. But I mean, and maybe you need morals to actually know what, maybe you need religion to understand what morals were, but to actually have them and carry them on, I don't think I need to have God to know that I shouldn't steal. I mean, thank you for teaching me that I shouldn't steal. And I agree with you, I shouldn't. But I don't need to follow you to remember that I shouldn't steal. Or I would hope not. I would hope that we were civilized human beings we've grown from the savage ways of thinking, the primal, actions. Well, that's another thing. Like, I mean, the human race back in the day, like, I mean, I think we did live with, dinosaurs and other life forms. I think we lived in a very enlightened city and civilization. I think the technology we have now doesn't come close to technology we had back then. Doesn't even come close. We are still in the barbaric medieval age. To use, I mean, technology, to use materials of this planet and energies and frequencies, you know, and jewelry and basic stupid computers compared to what we could be using, crystals and magnets and salt water and electricity and copper. I mean, everything gives off a frequency. I mean, Nikola Tesla believed in that. Everything gives off a frequency and a pulse and an energy and a shock and a zap. Um, that's another thing with the whole. I mean, humanity began in the astral realm, in the astral plane. We Humanity began in life and came through the birth canal into. We began in death, came through the astral plane, the Bifrost in some aspects, into the realm of physical, and were given form and shape. There are other videos I made of mine that actually tell you a little more about my belief on how the human race got here. Um, but we began in death. We began on the other side and came through here. And was given birth, and form into this, you know. But this is, I mean, I don't. This is not really how humans look, or this is actually how humans look. This is not how I look. I think our souls are pretty much our true forms, but our souls can't really interact in the physical realm per se. Not by themselves. I mean, it's no different than possession. The human soul needs a human body to interact in the physical realm. Just no different than a demon needs to possess a human, or a divine spirit needs permission to enter the human body to interact with the physical realm. I mean, everything from the spiritual realm needs a physical tie to the physical realm in order to interact with the physical items and materials and people. Um, I also do believe that there's three realms per se in this galaxy. Let's say. I mean, I don't particularly know what the third realm is. I mean, I call it purgatory per se. Purgatory has a different meaning in this realm. I think purgatory for me is like it's the very aspects of the astral plane realm and the universe in one realm. That's what the purgatory is. It has form and shape and being. People of the astral realm can go to purgatory, you know, through certain, guidelines and rules, but people in the physical realm cannot enter purgatory. They can enter the astral plane, but only through a few doors. But people from the physical realm cannot enter purgatory. And I do think, I mean, like the one guy at GG33, says, I do believe that there are some people out there that are NPCs, empty vessels, empty shells. And it sucks because, people that you care for, that you truly love, and, hope nothing bad happens, could very much be just a nobody. I mean, your brother and sisters, your friends, your mom and dad, you could be literally born from two parents that are empty vessels, nobodies. They don't matter. I mean, they matter to you, but in the grand scheme of things, they don't matter. Their essence will go back to the big pool of essence when they die. They won't really be. I mean, now there is another thought process I have about them being eggs, where they could maybe grow and hatch into a personality and consciousness and become somebody, and then they could possibly be given the blessings and divine earning of being reincarnated. Otherwise, they would just go back to the essence. And they could become somebody. Maybe having you, left a little echo of, your awakening on them and could have helped them crack that egg of consciousness and gave birth to a personality that gave birth to, them. But it's very tricky because I think that like science, like, it's like science and magic and miracles that are on this planet. It's like taking that knowledge and going out in space and thinking it's going to help you out there. That's like taking the knowledge and science of space and going to another dimension and thinking it's going to help you there. So yeah. Oh, that's been a minute. Um, but that's just a small case of just my belief on how things work. Um, I wish actually people would actually watch my videos instead of just being childish and leaving stupid comments. I mean, or at least be original. Like, like don't just. I can't tell you. Like, I swear they're all my ex leaving these comments because they all have to talk about my teeth. Okay, I don't have front teeth. All right, I don't. It's called life. It's called choices. It's called bad decisions. It's called drugs. It's called fighting. It's called chewing on metal. I mean, our body is not Superman. Our body is not designed to. I mean, I got rough end. When I was younger, my DNA, my structure was actually pretty strong, but I put it to the max. I mean, shit, I got silver hair. I'm losing my hair on top. I mean, I'm 37. I'm almost 40. I mean, I got fucking 13 years until I'm 50. 13 years. I remember fucking 24 years ago, I was 13. Now I've got 13 years away from being 50. But yeah, that's just my outlook on beginning and end creation. I do. I mean, the one religion that I hope is not right. I mean, I can care. I mean, if any other religions are right, that's fine by me per se, as long as something's real. I mean, because if you sort of got, if atheist is true and nothing is out there when you die, then what is the point? Then how did morals? And that's one thing I never understand. If like there's no creation, no God, and no beginning, no end, there's no heaven, there's no hell, there's no reason for anything, then how did we come up with morals? I mean, so like, there has to be a God, something out there. I'm hoping because if I die and I can't see my mom or my daughter that's up there, my nana or other people that I've lost, I wouldn't mind seeing again. But if I die and I come to find out nothing, nothing, that means I don't really have a soul. So that means my pulse electricity that's going on in my brain that's giving my brain consciousness and understanding and reasoning and rationality, it's not really a soul. Then I actually have to think about, then it's just an accident that I just have to be put together this way. And then but then are you really crazy? I mean, because what's crazy but sanity that's out of the normal? But yeah, welcome to my world. You guys have a good night, good morning,